Welcome everybody and good morning to our webinar today about Acronis Backup 12.5. My name is Markus Bauer. I'm the Technology Evangelist for EMEA at Acronis Germany, and I will be your host for this webinar for the next 45 minutes. All your lines are on mute. So if you have questions during this webinar, please use the chat window, and at the end of the webinar, I will try to answer all your questions. I hope you can hear me well and you can see already my presentation. Would be great if one of you could just send me a short message on the chat if the sound is okay, and then I will start with the presentation. Perfect. Thanks a lot for your messages. Great. So the idea for today is give you a short overview about Acronis itself, and then jump into our new product, Acronis Backup 12.5, explaining some features and licensing at the end. Let's start first with 2 slides about Acronis. So we are now more than 14 years on the market, protecting digital lives, protecting data at all. You see our business is spread mostly even between Europe and the Americas by 40%, and also on the customer side we are dealing with around 200,000 plus SMB customers in Europe and the Americas. Acronis has a deep experience in backup, and just one thing from this slide I want to mention is that we are really a strong technology company, so we are investing heavily in new development of our products. So you see on the bottom of the slide, we are running our own Acronis labs with more than 500 engineers working on the product to make it better with every version. So we have more than 200 patents now on our products and more than 17 years of development. Mostly we are coming from the home user backup. Maybe you know our product through image. So this is where it all starts. And now more and more Acronis is changing to, let's say, data management company. So we are not a backup company anymore. We are really a data management company. We are caring about your digital data, not only on your home user. One slide about some numbers on a study we found, which is really interesting because we always have this question about cloud, yes or no. And you see the number 68% of the people in the field, so the customers, are planning a hybrid IT infrastructure. And this is exactly what somebody from Microsoft told me some weeks ago on a conference, saying this cloud is not 100% yes or no, it's always a hybrid. So it will not be 100% on-prem or 100% in the cloud. It will always a kind of hybrid infrastructure, so a mixture between both of the technologies. And that's exactly why our technology is changing, and you will see on the next slides how we did this to our products. The next number is also really interesting. About 80% have lost data in the cloud already. This is an interesting number, and we need to know where the number comes from. So mostly people, if they are using cloud services, they think they are safe, and the cloud vendor is also caring about their data security. And that's wrong. If you are buying in for data for a cloud service, mostly the cloud vendor is not caring about your data itself. For example, on Office 365, Microsoft is a safe cloud for sure, but Microsoft is not caring about your data at all. So if you delete mails, if you delete content or whatever, then the data is gone. So the customer needs to protect also his cloud workloads. And the last thing on this slide, which is also really interesting and fearing, on the other hand, is that 47% of the companies or people worldwide are infected by ransomware in 2016. So this is really, really a huge number. And maybe you heard about WannaCry, for example, which was really one of the biggest last ransomware attacks. And this is not the last one. And there are some studies from IDC and Gartner that in 2017, the number is doubled to tripled, which means really everybody will be infected in somewhere from ransomware. And ransomware is getting more and more aggressive. In the beginning, they started to infect your desktop PC and encrypt just your local files, but in the meantime, they're also able to encrypt shared content, and even worse, they can also encrypt your backup. And this is really, really a pain for most of the people, because backup was the last line of defense, and with the newer ransomware, this is gone. So you have to take really a special eye on your backup infrastructure, on your backup solution, how they can help you on protecting against ransomware. And there is a new feature in our product, which I will explain later on, how we can help you to get your customer protected against ransomware. I see some comments on the chat that there is no audio from somebody. Please try to use your PC. I'm just writing a short note on the chat. Sorry for interrupting. Okay, so sound is fixed. Okay, sorry for this interruption. So out of this number, there is a big opportunity for you as a partner, because of this moving to hybrid and moving to cloud services, and making sure that you're protecting your backup for ransomware. We collected some numbers, so just the biggest number in the middle. The market for cloud backup and recovery will be a $5.2 billion opportunity by 2020. So this is really, really a huge number, and this is more or less done because most of the people are moving from an on-prem to a hybrid model and using backup and cloud services at all. And that's exactly why we changed our technology or our architecture to the so-called Acronis hybrid cloud architecture. So what we have done, we really completely changed our product, and they've seen already our Backup 12 or maybe Backup 12.5 product. This is totally changed from what you know from our older 11 version. So first of all, our new products, what they have in common, they are all using a unified, centralized, web-based user interface. So there's no GUI installed with the product itself. It's all based on a web interface, which gives you the possibility to use nearly every PC with just a browser you prefer, like Firefox, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, or whatever, to open the console and to manage your backup at all. Also, with cloud, it gives you the possibility, if you're connected to the internet and if you have connection to the company network, you can manage the software from wherever you are in the world. So this was a necessary step to go into this hybrid model at all. On the left side, on the protection part, you see a list of more or less our products. So today we are talking about backup and cloud storage. We also offer you a product for disaster recovery and a product for file sync and share. The monitoring product is a new one which was developed for backup 12.5 to monitor your environment, and we will enhance the monitoring tool also to monitor other things in your IT environment. Notary is also a new feature in a backup 12.5 where you can notarize your files. I will go to this deeper later on. Also, there are two new things on this product list, like the archiving or the e-discovery. These are products which are on the roadmap. You will see it by this year or maybe beginning of next year, when we will come up with new products for long-time archiving or e-discovery, which is a kind of Google search in your environment. From the development view, so where can you install our products, there were also this hybrid cloud architecture in the focus. So we don't care if you use your private cloud, which means you install the product on-prem, use the cloud of your partner or our own Acronis cloud, up to the big hyperscaler clouds like Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services. Also on the workload, we give the customer the full option to protect whatever workload he is running, from physical servers on different operating systems like Windows, Mac or Linux, up to virtual environments, including the applications and even up to mobile devices. But also, again, the hybrid architecture is also protecting workloads in the clouds, really common Office 365, but also virtual machines in the Azure cloud or in the Amazon cloud. The same on storage. So we give you again the possibility to store wherever you want. It could be on-prem in your data center, on local disks, on tape drives, on network shares, or on SAN storage, but also again on cloud storage, again Microsoft, Amazon, but also our own Acronis cloud or FTP or SFTP to connect to the cloud of your service provider. And on the right, you see the any recovery part. This is just a part of our recovery options. So just to mention something, or someone is first of all our data recovery. So we can recover not only a system, we can also recover really single data like a single file, but also if it comes to mail recovery, we can recover even up to a single email at all. On the system recovery, we have for sure bare metal recovery, but with our universal restore, we can even do a bare metal recovery or dissimilar hardware, which means maybe you need to change the brand of your server vendor, and normally you get problems with driver sets. So this could be fixed with our universal restore, and then you can do a bare metal recovery on a dissimilar hardware. Also, some nice features like instant restore is again in the product 12.5. With instant restore, you have the possibility to do a kind of disaster recovery, where we can create a virtual machine within 50 to 20 seconds, and then the server is up and running as a virtual machine again. Also with Universal Restore, we got the possibility to do kind of migrations. You see some examples here like P2V, physical to virtual, but also physical to cloud or virtual to cloud. And really much more important is also the offer to do the migration back from the cloud. So we can also do cloud to virtual migration or even cloud to physical. So if you want to change your cloud provider, you can always get back your data out of the cloud. Let's talk a little bit about the product itself, Acronis Backup 12.5. So with the release of 12.5, we changed the naming a little bit. So now the product is divided in 2 editions. You see it's available in Standard Edition and in Advanced Edition. Both editions have in common that we are backing up the whole Microsoft stack, starting with the standard Windows PC up to Windows Server, Hyper-V, virtualization, and even up to the Azure Cloud and Office 365, but also including your on-prem application like Exchange, SQL Server, SharePoint, and Active Directory. Also, both editions are supporting Amazon as a cloud service and for sure VMware WebSphere as a hypervisor. Also Linux Server as a client and also as the backup management server, and Apple Macintosh, MacBooks, even up to the mobile phones like iPhone, iPad, or Android-based phone. In the Advanced Edition, we have some additional hypervisors like Oracle VM Server, Red Hat Virtualization, Linux KVM, and the Citrix Xen Server, and also new in the 12.5 Advanced Edition is the support of Oracle databases. So now we are providing an agent for Oracle databases, so you can do a consistent backup of your Oracle database. As a summary, the new version, Acronis Backup 12.5, is really a complete solution. We are now protecting 21 platforms at all. We have this instant restore with a 50-second RTO, and it's really innovative with our prevention of ransomware, which I will go through in detail later on. So yeah, what's cool, what's new in the version 12.5, just to name some new features. First of all, which is really helpful in a larger environment, are the admin roles. So now the system is fully manageable on the account itself. It's combined to Active Directory, and you can create different roles and different sets of groups, especially on bigger environment. It's really interesting. We are using it, for example, in Acronis. We created units by location. So we have a unit for Munich, a unit for Singapore, a unit for Boston, for example. And then you can set up admins to these local groups, units, and they can only manage their own backups. So as an example, the administrator for the Munich office can only manage his backup in the Munich environment and will not see the other systems in Boston or Singapore, for example. So this is really a good thing to administer really large environment with a lot of data. And you will see in the next releases that we are working on this admin roles to expand the features. Also, we will have a new role called observer in the future. So this will be a guy who can log into the system, can see what's going on, but cannot create backup plans, backups, or restores. And there will also some admin roles like a guy who can only do backups or a guy who can do only restore. So there is really a lot more coming in the next releases. The next big thing is our dashboard and reporting. So when you see the product, and I will show you some screenshots later on, we implemented a pretty new dashboard which is fully customizable by the customer. So every admin in the system can create his own dashboard and can put whatever it's interesting for him on his first page. So when he logs in to the system, he will see his dashboard and exactly the information he wants to see. This is done by so-called widgets. So you have a list of widgets available and can then customize your view with these widgets. You can drag and drop them around on the desktop so you see whatever you like to see. Also, what you can do out of these dashboards is do reporting. So you can click on the dashboard, the send button, and then you will get the report out of your actual dashboard. And this is, by the way, the monitoring tool which is behind this dashboard functionality. Then I want to jump to design a storage snapshot, also a new feature in the version 12.5. It was demanded by the guys in the field, so a lot of customer demanded these features. Now we have implemented it, beginning with a NetApp. What are we doing here? We just use the snapshot technology of the storage itself. And in the beginning, as I said, we started with NetApp, and a lot of other vendors like IBM, HPC, EMC, and so on will follow. This helps you really to offload your VMware host and use the native SAN snapshots on your storage system. And the next one on this slide I want to cover is the off-host backup processing possibility. So this is pretty a cool new feature. So let me give you an example what it's behind. So you're running an Exchange server and you are backing up this Exchange server. And after the backup, you want to work with the backup. Let's say you want maybe to validate the backup, maybe you want to dedupe the backup, you want to replicate the backup to a second location. And these are tasks which should not stress my Exchange server at all. So what we do, we use the agent for Exchange to back up the Exchange server, and then you can use a different agent to do the other tasks like dedupe, like validation. So just use another server which is not your productive Exchange server, for example, or maybe your database server. So now you can really give tasks to different agents in your environment to to reduce the resource utilization of your productive server. Then we have the new feature called Acronis Notary. Acronis Notary is a kind of validation of your data and the integrity of your data. It's driven by blockchain technology, and I will give you 2 slides how this is exactly working. This is pretty cool new feature. to make sure that you are compliant and have a valid data at all. And the last thing on this slide is the Acronis Active Protection. This is our protection against ransomware, which is doing a proactive data protection and avoid that you are losing data or get encrypted by ransomware at all. And this feature I want to show you later on. So here are the lists of all the features we have included and also the new features. By the way, you will all get this presentation at the end of this webinar and also a link to the recording, so you can have a look on this list later on. I just want to mention some new features like the Oracle databases. So as I said, we are now providing your agent to do online Oracle database backup. We are fully integrated in the cloud at all. So from the user perspective, we are protecting any user and any device anywhere. On the virtual part, maybe the last point is really important, mostly forgotten in the field. When you back up virtual environments like VMware or Hyper-V, we can protect not only your virtual machines, including the application, we also can protect the host itself. So what does this mean? For example, on VMware, if you have a hardware crash and you have to exchange the server, then normally the restore will look like bringing in the new hardware, installing VMware, installing a virtual machine, installing your backup software in this virtual machine, and then do the restore from there. With our universal restore, we can even do a bare metal restore on the VMware host itself. So in our case, it's Acronis Backup 12.5. You will just need the boot media. Normally you create a USB stick, and then the new hardware will boot from this USB stick, will recover the whole VMware, including all your virtual machines and all the application within this virtual machine. So this is really easy and fast task to recover your complete host. And that's exactly the same on Hyper-V. Some other cool new features and also some features we have since some version, like the Acronis Instant Restore, our 50 seconds RTO, so recovery time objective, which means 50 seconds and then the server is up and running again. So what is the feature or what is behind this is really a kind of disaster recovery. What we can do with Instant Restore, we will create an empty virtual machine and link it to the backup storage. So this means there is no movement of data at all, and that's exactly the reason why we can do within 50 seconds RTO and have the server up and running within 50 seconds, because it's just creating an empty machine and link it to the backup storage. And then you can work with this machine. You can use it like a normal machine, depending a little bit on where your backup is based. For example, if the backup is based in the cloud, then you are depending on your internet connection. But it's, like I said, a kind of disaster recovery to be at least up and running pretty fast. And if you want to keep this virtual machine at the end, there's always the possibility to finalize the machine, and then the data will be moved out of the backup to your virtual environment. But this is also done in the background, so you can even work during the restore with this virtual machine. Bare metal recovery, I already told you about our Acronis Universal Restore, where we can swap the driver sets and boot up whatever hardware you needed. Granular, this is really interesting if it comes to application. We can really do a granular recovery of your application. For example, on Exchange, we can recover the whole database, but also up to a single mail. And the same on the databases, so you can recover the whole database, but also parts out of the database, and on SharePoint up to really single documents. Also, a really good feature is our enhanced sandbox validation. You see it on the right at the bottom. What is the enhanced sandbox validation? This is used for VMware, and you can create a plan for validating a backup, which means the system will grab the backup, will start a virtual machine out of this backup in a sandbox environment, so it's not concerning your IT at all. We'll check the virtual machine if everything is running, we'll validate, and even you can provide scriptings for testing applications, and then it will close down the virtual machine and delete it, and the administrator will get a summary by mail at the end saying, okay, I tested the virtual machine, I run this script, I started this application, everything was fine, and then I shut it down, the machine. So this can be done, for example, during the night, heavy load on the systems. You can validate all your backups in a sandbox and will get a nice report in the morning. So this makes sure that all your backups are really valid and all the data can be or is readable. From the storage options, this is mostly what you know from our products already. So as I said, we are supporting local disks, external drives, network shares, NAS, SAN, and SFTP. From the tape side, and this is a feature which is only in the advanced edition, so if you need tape, you need the advanced edition. We support from a single tape drive to autoloaders up to big libraries. There is the media management totally included. You have tape rotation, retention rules, and also reports. We also changed the way how we communicate with the tapes a little bit with version 12.5. So now we rely on the drivers of Windows. So if your Windows can see your autoloader or library and you can access it from the Windows, then our system can also work with this tape device. From the cloud perspective, we offer for sure our Acronis Cloud Storage, which can be used to all our products. By the way, we are running 14 data centers worldwide at the moment, and all the data centers are independent, so the data will not be copied in another location, it will stay in the country. Secure Zone, maybe you know from our True Image product, this is kind of creating a hidden partition on a desktop PC to use it for backup and also for recovery, so you can boot up from the Secure Zone to do a restore on the PC. Deduplication is still built in. We have improved it really good. If you know our deduplication from the 11 versions, it was demanding heavily on RAM and CPU, and now the code was completely rewritten on deduplication, so it's really improved in terms of CPU and RAM. So you see 1 GB RAM per 8 TB of data. And also the speed was improved heavily, so also the deduplication and all is reduced by 50% if it comes to time perspectives. Scalable management, I already mentioned the admin roles where you can create different units, different departments within an environment. You have this super admin on top, and then you can create remote admins for your departments, branches, or units. Also, I mentioned already the centralized web console. It's even touch-friendly, so if you are using for iPad or tablet, for example, you can also use the web console from there. The dashboard with the widgets I already mentioned, you will see in the slides screenshot later on. Also on the reporting, we have developed some new features. So now there are some pre-built reportings in place which can be used, but always the possibility to create also some custom reports. We have now included also diagrams, graphics, and highlights. It's really simple to customize. It's just more or less 3 to 4 clicks, and then your report will be done, and you can schedule the report, so it will be sent, for example, every morning to the administrator. Within this file, then within this mail, you will find 2 files, one as a PDF and the other as an Excel, which can then be used also to use it for different reporting systems. Also on the policies and groups, we have put it in some new features like the dynamic groups. This is really interesting. You can create a dynamic group around search criteria, and there is a list on our knowledge base which search create you can use. You can also combine them. For example, you can create a search which is called all machines with Windows 2016 server, and then the system will group automatically all machines which are running Windows 2016 in this group, and you can apply a backup plan to this group, and then if a new server comes in, it will be added dynamically to this group and will be or the backup plan will be applied automatically to this group. Yeah, the innovation of data protection, the 2 things I already mentioned is one hand the Acronis Active Protection, the protection against ransomware, and on the other hand the Acronis Notary, the system to check if your file content is really the right, if it was changed by somebody, and this will be also certified. So you will get a certification at the end when you use Notary, saying, okay, this is a valid file. It was not changed during the last backup. What we use is the Ethereum blockchain. So maybe you heard about blockchain technology. It was originally found by the founder of Bitcoin to ensure Bitcoin transaction in the web, and nowadays this is really used by a lot of companies to ensure transaction, to ensure file authenticity, authentify files and whatever. So what the system is doing, I will show you after the active protection. So what is active protection all about and how is it working? So as I said, active protection protects you from ransomware attacks, or better said, from encrypting your files to ransomware. So what it is just an agent running in the background and doing more or less nothing. You see it on the slide, the blue part on the left. So if a machine now is infected by ransomware, and then the ransomware will start to encrypt files, this is where the Active Protection reacts. So it reacts on the encryption itself, and then it will look in a list of whitelist or blacklist. So what you can do, you can always whitelist special applications. So for example, you have an application which is encrypting your file because you want to have them encrypted, then you can whitelist this application and ransomware will not protect your files from this application. If it's not on the whitelist, then there are three possibilities to react from Active Protection. So one is to just inform the administrator that there is a possible ransomware detection. You see it on the screenshot on the right. The next level will be informing the administrator and terminate the threat, so the ransomware will be killed. And the third option will be informing the administrator, terminate the threat, and do an instant restore of files which are already encrypted. In addition to this, the Active Protection agent itself is, how to say, closed and secured, so it cannot be attacked by ransomware, and also it protects our backup files itself, so also ransomware cannot encrypt the backup files at all. So yeah, here you see the flow chart. The thing is more or less that we or the backup file itself can only be changed from our agent itself. So there is a signature in there, and if the signature is not there, then the backup file at all is not readable or changeable. The system, by the way, is not working like common virus applications. So we are not providing, for example, virus definition once a day or two a day. It's really within the data stream, and it will check everything or every I/O which is done in the system. So that's exactly why we don't need any definition file. We analyze really the inputs and outputs and who and how is the system working with the files. And if there is something which is not common or not usual for a Windows system, then the Active Protection reacts. And the next big feature, our Notary, which I want to explain a bit more. Yeah, Notary improves your backup. So why did we build in Notary at all? So Notary is more or less for important documents like agreements, tax stuff, billing, financial statements, or even medical records, X-ray pictures, and video surveillance documents, and so on. So everything which needs to be proven that it was not changed at all. So there were a really interesting webinar some weeks ago about ransomware. I participated, and the guy said the next ransomware attack will be more dangerous because they will not encrypt the files, they will change the files at all. And this could be really, really dangerous, and that's exactly where our notary feature is protecting you. What it will do, it just creates a hash kind of fingerprint of the files you store in the backup, and this hash will be stored in the blockchain. And if you want to check if this file is still valid and the same, let's say after a month, after some months, or maybe after years, you can create a new hash and compare it to the old hash stored in the blockchain. And if the hashes are the same, then the file is still valid, and you will get a certification saying, okay, this file wasn't manipulated, this is still the same file, and you have the proof for maybe the lawyer or whatever who is asking to show that this is a valid file. This is really interesting technology, and it is more and more common, and also a lot of banks are now talking about blockchain to secure online banking and so on. So this is pretty nice feature, which will be more and more common to use this blockchain technology to secure data at all. So just one slide repeating our unique solutions. As I said, you will get all these slides and the recording, so you can have a look again later on. Some other nice features like the dashboard. So I promised you the screenshot here. You can see it. This is the dashboard, how it looks like. The blocks are the so-called widgets, and you see this button, Add Widget, where you can just add another widget, whatever you want to see. It could be a pie diagram, it could be only text or whatever. And every administrator can put in the widgets he wants to see and has his own view to the dashboard. Here is the screenshot of the admin role. So here you see the units and departments. So in this screenshot, you have the organization, and below you have the different departments in this organization, like Boston, London, Munich, Singapore. And the good feature about this is you can set up local administration. So you put in an administrator in the Boston department, for example, and he can only manage his Boston environment and have no view to the other environments at all. The admin roles are fully integrated in Active Directory, so there is no need to set up new users. You can make use of your already in place Active Directory. Also, a big new feature is the Oracle database backup. Here is the screenshot. As I said, we're providing you with an agent for Oracle database, so you can do a consistent backup of your Oracle database, including a quick bare metal recovery. You can granular recovery, fully RMAN integration, and it's also integrated in the Acronis Notary feature. Then the screenshot of the backup from SAN storage snapshots, where we can use the snapshot technology of the storage vendor. As I said in the beginning, starting with NetApp storage. So you need the credentials to the NetApp storage at all, and then you can use the snapshot technology directly on the SAN storage and bypass the hypervisor host, so you have not that many load on your virtual environment at all. And then the off-host processing, as I said, it can be used to do different tasks on different agents to reduce the overhead on your productive servers. So, for example, replication, validation, deduplication, or whatever can be done by a different agent and will then offload it from your production server at all. Just some words about the target markets and the license, and I see we are nearly at 11, so I need to speed up a little bit. Yeah, what is the target market for Acronis Backup 12.5? With the new idea of having two editions like standard and advanced, we really cover mostly the complete market. So with the standard edition, we can back up on small businesses up to, let's say, 100 employees. And then with the advanced edition, we can even go up to enterprises with more than 1,000 employees. And we have done tests in our labs. So we have backed up environments with 2,500 servers simultaneously without any problems at all. So this is really now a product which can be used for the enterprise as well. One use case I want to skip because of timing. As I said, will get this presentation at the end. So some words about the licensing. It's really important to know because we changed completely the licensing on the 12.5 version. So first of all, we are licensing on virtual environments only on the host. And with the host license, you have unlimited virtual machines and your applications are now included in the license. From the license type, as always, we have two possibilities. One is the subscription license for 1, 2, or 3 years, which includes support as long as you're under subscription. And if you want to buy or your customer want to buy the product, we are still offering the perpetual license, which includes 1 year support, and then you have to renew. Also, we have again a trial version available. It's a fully featured 30 days trial, so there is everything included which is in the advanced feature set, and also 1 terabyte Acronis cloud storage. And if your customer wants to keep the solution at the end, he just needs to activate it by a key, and there is no need to a reinstallation. Just one thing you need to keep in mind when it comes to a trial. In the trial version, you have all the advanced features available. If you're then buying a key for the standard edition, you will lose the advanced features at all. So if a customer is complaining after the trial, then this is because he maybe just bought the standard edition. So let's have a look on the license itself. So on the left side, you see the old version 11.7. We had 21 licenses, and now with the new version 12.5, we have only 9 licenses at all. So all the applications are not available as a single agent anymore. They are all included in the advanced server license or in the virtual host license. Also in the virtual host license, as I said, there is included unlimited VMs. So the license is based on hosts. For example, if you run a VMware cluster with 2 hosts, then you need 2 licenses at all. On the standard edition, exactly the same. There is a server license including the application. There is the virtual host license, also including the applications and unlimited VMs. And also on standard, we have Windows Server Essential license. What is new on the license tab is the Office 365 license for standard or advanced edition. Why do we offer separate license on Office 365? Because there were some customers around which asked for only Office 365 backup, and therefore we provide a single license only for Office 365. Here you have the table, what is supported in which edition. And here I want to mention the cool thing is that you can even mix the editions. So you can mix up standard and advanced licenses. This is pretty cool for bigger environments. So for example, in the main data center, you're running the advanced license to have advanced features like notary, tape support, deduplication, and on your branches around the world, you just use the standard license because there you don't have tapes, you don't need the roles or delegations, and everything will be managed out of your advanced environment. So you will see all the agents also based on standard licensing in the environment and can manage it from there. Here again, the comparison between the two license types, subscription and perpetual, I already mentioned regarding support. So with perpetual 1 year included in the subscription as long as you're on the subscription. So it depends what your customer prefer. Is it more OPEX, so a regular payment, or is it CAPEX, or upfront payment? Interesting is on the renewal rate. So with the subscription model, we have really less churn. We have an average renewal of 95%. On the perpetual, the average renewal rate is about 75%. And that's exactly why we are preferring the subscription model as the better model. And I think for the most of the customers, also the better model. It's really easier, fewer licenses you have, or it applies for future versions. So if there's a new version coming, you will get the new version for free. It's complete, and if there's a new feature included in the future, it will be immediately included in the product as well. And for sure, you have this 24/7 support with the subscription model. Some words about training for you as a partner. So we are with the new 12.5 version, we also renewed our trainings. You will find the sales training, Acronis Sales Professional. It's online training. It's for free. You can log in to our e-learning platform and do the training. It's around 1 hour, and then you will have a short exam, and then you are Acronis Sales Professional. And also we renewed the Backup Specialist. This is also a free on-demand e-learning course, which is about 90 minutes, where you can get deeper knowledge of the backup product itself. Also the technical class we have renewed. So the new Acronis Certified Engineer Backup is a complete new training. It's an on-site training. It's 2 days, and it's required by the Acronis Partner Program. So on the right side, you see the certifications which are required. So depending on your level, if you're Gold Partner, Platinum Partner, or Distributor, then there are certain certifications required. So if you have not done it yet, please log on to the e-learning platform and do at least the online trainings, and then have a look on the next ACE trainings which are around your area. Also the partner portal, we have renewed the content. So just go to partners.acronis.com. You will find all the new content about Backup 12.5, including rebrandable sales tools, battle cards against other vendors, campaigns in a box. Also, you can register your deal there. You have your not for resale license in there. Also now for Backup 12.5, including Advanced Edition. So everything is done out of the partner portal. So this is really a good point to start. Also from the partner portal, you can go to the training and then the system will log you to the e-learning platform. So last slide, just a conclusion. The top 3 reasons why selling Acronis Backup. I think I covered all of them. We are really a modern and unified product with 12.5. It's really easy to install, about 5 clicks, and tests from different companies have proven that we are really 2 times faster than the competition. And last but not least, we prevent you from ransomware. That's it from the PowerPoint. It's 11 UK time, so sorry for being a little bit longer than expected. Now I will check in the chat window if there is something. Yes, there are some questions. So can this prevent ransomware from encrypting the storage? Yes and no. So the Active Protection is protecting you from encrypting your local storage. What we cannot do if you, for example, you have a desktop machine running Active Protection and there are some file servers mounted, we cannot protect file shares at all. So then to protect these file servers, for example, you need to run the Active Protection also on the file server. But normally, I would say 80, maybe more % of the ransomware is starting to encrypt your local files first, and then you are protected. And if the ransomware is starting with your network drives and you have the Active Protection running on this server, providing the shares, then it will also block the ransomware and prevent you from encryption. There's a question about the presentation. Yeah, it will be shared. You can use it. You will get it as a PDF after this webinar. Also the link to the recording, and for sure you can share this with your colleagues in the company. So let me just check the Q&A if there is something. No, the sound is okay. So if you don't have questions at all at the moment, you can also contact me by mail. Maybe after getting the presentation and you see something which is unclear, just send me a mail. I drop you my email address in the chat window. It's markus.bauer@acronis.com. And yeah, just send me a mail and then I will answer your questions. Here's a next question popping up. Where can we download a trial? So just go to our website, acronis.com, go to the product. There you will find Acronis Backup 12.5, and there you can register for the trial, or better said, you can just download the software and then install the software. And when you want to activate it, you can click the trial button, and then your trial will start for 30 days. And by the way, if you go for a trial, you have fully support within the trial period. So if it comes to issues or problems, you can always contact our support during the trial period. So if there is no question right now, sorry again for the timing. I wish you a nice day, a nice week, and maybe we hear us in one of the other webinars we're running. So please stay tuned and have a nice day, have a nice week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.